Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Matty here from Chill TCG. Today we're back to our normal kind of upload schedule. We posted the Grand Finals match video for Chill Series number 41 a couple days ago, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you guys go and check that out. But today we're going to be taking a look at the top 16 deck lists from Chill Series number 41, and it was an incredible tournament. Realistically, it was absolutely insane. 850 players, 850, the largest tournament of all time on the Played Out Limitless platform. And yeah, I mean, we had tons of great players, and I really can't wait to take a look at all the deck lists that made top 16. I'm really excited. We haven't really kind of analyzed the meta for a little while. We haven't really taken a look at it, so we're going to go ahead and do that today. Big congrats to everybody who made top 16, and don't forget to play in Chill Series number 42, which I haven't posted a link to it yet or uploaded the tournament page, but that'll probably be up tomorrow, so you know, stay tuned for that. And yeah, I really can't wait. It's going to be really exciting. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start from number 16, so let's go down here. We've got our guy, Tifaru. He's from France. Got 16th. He was playing Eternatus. We have a lot of different decks that we can, you know, or a lot of different decks that we will be taking a look at today, so I'm actually really excited to get into it. So it looks like, okay, so it looks like this guy here was playing Eternatus VMAX, and Etern's still really good right now. I mean, I know that it kind of took a back burner during the Battle Styles format. Urshifu is actually still pretty popular right now in this format, so, you know, Etern, especially at the beginning of Chilling Reign, wasn't seeing a whole lot of play, but it did get an upgrade with the new Galarian Moltres V, and this is kind of pretty standard stuff for what we see for Etern now. We do have a Guzzlord down there, which is definitely a little bit different, but it's a lot more viable actually now in the new updated Etern list, because we can pile up the energies on all our Pokemon. We have the +1 energy attachment per turn with Galarian Moltres, and we're going to be able to move those energies onto Guzzlord to use that red banquet attack, which takes 4 energies, but it's a lot more doable now, right? Because we can move the energies every turn from one Pokemon to the other. So we get the 4-4 Etern lineup, 4 Crobat, 2-2 Weavile, Sneasel, and then we have the 2 Galarian Moltres, 2 Zigzagoon, 2 Yveltal. It's still Etern, right? So we're still going to be running a lot of Pokemon in the list, but I like everything here. It all kind of goes together really properly. It's a basic Etern list, right? Lots of Pokemon search, lots of Pokemon research, boss, Marnie, core there for supporters, 3 switch cards, 3 Chaotic Swell. This is an important one as well, because you know, it's really our only way to get rid of Path to the Peak, which can be really detrimental to us as a list, because of course, a lot of our Pokemon have abilities. Really, I mean, every one of the Pokemon we play in this deck, we're playing it for the ability, mostly, right? That's Eternatus, Crobat, Weavile, Moltres. Path to the Peak is going to kind of not allow us to use the abilities on any of those guys, so we want to get rid of Path to the Peak, and that's, of course, why we're running a high count of Chaotic Swell, 3 of them, and 10 Dark Energy. So a list that I really do like, and I think that Etern is definitely still one of the best decks in our format. During Darkness Ablaze, it was the best deck. I don't know if it's the best deck right now, but it's definitely a top 5 list, and it's extremely powerful, very consistent, all the stuff that Etern typically is. So, all right, let's move on. Big shout out to Tifaru. Tifaru did great. Played great. There's actually quite a bit of Dark-type lists in this top 16. Next up, we have Farhan Aziz, I'm not sure, from Malaysia, and this dude was playing Mewtwo Dark Box, which is kind of a more spicier Dark-type list. I mean, when you hear Dark-type, everybody immediately is probably going to think, think of Eternatus, but there's actually a few options right now that people are playing that incorporate a lot of Dark-type attackers in the list, and this is one of them. This is kind of the other one that most people are playing when it comes to Dark-type decks. We're still running the Moltres, Galarian Moltres V, Weavile GX Core. It's just a great way to accelerate Dark Energies and move them around freely. We're just kind of focusing those energies onto different attackers in this list, and of course, it's going to be with Mewtwo and Mew GX, where we can copy the attacks of the Greninja and Zoroark GX, and the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX, as well as the Umbreon and Darkrai GX, which is probably the most important one. Dark Moon GX and Dark Lance, 2 phenomenal attacks on that Pokemon. So, you know, we have a lot of different options here, right? I mean, there's a lot going on in this list. It's definitely a Sun and Moon era list. Tons of GX Pokemon. Even a lot of the trainer cards here are Sun and Moon era. We have Viridian Forest, Cynthia Caitlin, Red and Blue, Goose Mahala, Tag Call. So, you know, definitely kind of an older format list, something that's definitely not going to survive rotation, but we actually see a Silvally GX in here as well, which I actually really like. It's going to help us disc reload so we can draw some extra cards there every turn. It's just a really fun list. There's a lot going on with it for sure, but it actually has a lot of synergy, and right now having a Psychic type attacker and a Dark type attacker right on in your list is really, really good. It's really advantageous. You can hit for weakness on Urshifu, but then you can also go ahead and hit for weakness on Shadow Rider Calyrex. So really advantageous list, and it probably has a really decent matchup spread as well. Might be a little bit of a hard deck to kind of pilot compared to maybe Eternatus VMAX, but definitely really creative and really good. We've seen this list do really well recently. I don't know if it's actually won any massive tournaments. It probably has. I haven't kept up with that. We'll do a meta analysis soon. Full meta analysis soon. But yeah, 2 capture energies as well. There's a lot of basics that we want to kind of get on our board in this deck, so makes sense. And colorless energies oftentimes in all these Pokemon's attack costs. So yeah, it's a really good list, and definitely really creative. Yeah, I mean, I like it. You have a lot of different options, and I think that's a big part that makes this deck so advantageous. I like this one, and if you're into kind of Mewtwo decks right now, this is kind of the only one that people are playing. So big shout out to Farhan. I can't pronounce names. Everybody knows that. At number 14, we have Jack Yu. This man is from Australia, and he was playing Caturday, which is perhaps going to be the most rogue list that we see in top 16. But realistically, we all know Caturday is really good. I lost to this list one time in a Players' Cup qualifier game, and it's actually really, really, really good. We have the new Shady Dealings, the new Rapid Strike Sobble and Inteleon, right, with the quick shooting. Really nice core here because we do have 4 Shady Dealings Drizziles in here. That's going to help us just find trainer cards throughout our list. It's really good. We can also add extra damage counters every turn with Inteleon, which is exactly what we want to do with, of course, the Caturday attack. Which we're going to be using from Esper and Meowth. And this, really good. Really, really good. Hold on, I'm just reading, though, because I need to make sure. So I think we're actually not using, the Caturday isn't the attack that does the damage, I believe. It's Ear Kinesis, I think. Oh, no, this is just a spread list. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm thinking of something completely different. So yeah. So it's like kind of like a damage spread deck, right? We've got, we have the coughing, wheezing. We have got the quick shooting Inteleon, the Roxy that go with the wheezing. And we have Rowlet as well with Birdkeeper, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, it's a really fun list. It's definitely a rogue deck. It's a single prize archetype, but you don't see a lot of single prize archetypes like doing extremely well in this format exactly. I know that there was the new Rapid Strike Malamar list, which is actually a pretty good list as well, just not really heavily played. But I really like this one here. It's definitely creative. It's fun. And as far as single prize archetypes go, it's probably going to be perhaps the most effective. I really enjoyed it. It's super cool to even see this in top 16. There's always probably like one rogue list that'll make it, and a list that isn't super meta make top 16. But we've never really seen this before do that well at Chill Series events, so it's really good to see. And I really like this. So yeah, that's super cool to see. So big shout out to Jack. He's absolutely a phenomenal player. If you guys are interested in finding the exports to all these lists, they're not going to be in the description, but the link to this page here where you can just go ahead and find it yourself, that's going to be down in the description. So I recommend that you guys go and test some of these out yourself on PTCGO. Next up, though, at number 13, we have Super Gag. Super Gag. He's from Thailand. We actually had a couple Thailand players make top 16. And he was playing the Rillaboom Delmise list. And this is really the only grass-type archetype that has seen some play or really some success at all in this format right now. But it's actually really, really good. And I think people don't give it enough credit. We are still running the Voltage Beat Rillaboom, Rowlet, and Alolan Executor GX core, right? I mean, this is how we're going to be setting up our energy acceleration engine. We use Super Growth from Rowegg to evolve up into the Rillaboom. Roweg's also a really good attacker in its own right with Calming Hurricane, Tropical Hour GX. We even have a Shaman Prism Star, which can be a really effective attacker as well. But yeah, we're using the Rillabooms, but the thing is now we're using Delmise VMAX, which is actually a really useful, a really powerful 3-prize VMAX attacker. We have Swinging Anchor, I think, I don't know what the first attack is. From Delmise VMAX, but it's actually really good. So it only takes 1 energy to attack, but it does like 30 damage for each energy attached to the Delmise, but you can actually hit the bench with it. And that's the big upside with the Delmise VMAX. The second attack is like pretty consistent 240 damage, which is a really powerful attack as well. But the ability to kind of finish off KOs by sniping the bench with Delmise is absolutely like incredible. It's really insane, especially since fire isn't really popular at all. No one's playing fire decks in this format. Kind of just makes sense why a grass type deck like this has a lot going for it. And a lot of extra stuff in here that you would kind of expect in a Rowegg list. We're running the Tag Call engine. We've got Energy Recycler and Ordinary Rod, Turffield Stadium, grass, 10 grass, 2 capture energy. We do have Eldegoss, Dedenne, Crobat, and Marshadow, which are all really good tech conclusions in most decks these days. You'll see the Marshadow especially. Yeah, we actually are running 2 Path to the Peaks in the list as well, which is another card that can kind of just really like steal wins in a lot of different matchups. There's so many decks that really hate Path to the Peak. It just makes sense where if it isn't kind of being super detrimental to you, it makes sense to kind of throw a couple of them in there. This is doing something very similar to what we saw with Rider Calyrex for a while, whereas people are playing Path to the Peak, even though they have a lot of Pokemon in their list with abilities that would get turned off by Path to the Peak. They're still running the Peaks, but they're running a Marshadow or two to get rid of it whenever they want to for their turn, and that's kind of why the Marshadow's in there. Yeah, it's a list that I really do like. Double Reset Stamp as well. 2 Malolanas. Kind of really like a tanky list, right? With Big Charm, the Malolana, Attack Call Engine. It's Calming Hurricane can heal you as well. So it's a really fun list. And in terms of, if you're a grass type player, like if you like grass type decks, I know I'm one of those people. This is kind of the list to be playing right now, and I really do like it. I really do. Grass, I don't know how grass is going to go, right? After rotation, it's going to be hard to get into this 3-prize, this stage 2 Rillaboom to accelerate grass energies without super growth. I mean, we still have rare candy, but it's going to be tough. So I don't know if grass will really survive, but we might get some really good pieces here in the future for post-rotation Delmise Rillaboom. But yeah, that's a fun one as well. So really cool. The last 2 lists were super cool. Now we're going to get into more meta stuff. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Wishing Star Norman Xing is his name. He's from Hong Kong, got 12th. So let's take a look at his Calyrex Inteleon. So Ice Rider. A lot of people love Ice Rider. I do too. It's a really, really good deck. It's honestly might be my favorite from Chilling Reign. But yeah, I mean, we're running the Shady Dealings Inteleon Quick Shooting. People call this deck Ice Tray. It's probably just the best way to play Ice Rider. Some people are playing the Cinccino Make Do engine, which is also kind of good. But I think that the Shady Dealings engine, for the most part, is better. Where we have 4 Sobbles, 4 Shady Dealings Drizziles, and then we have 2 Shady Dealings Inteleons with 1 Quick Shooting. And this is what you'll see a lot of times with Ice Rider. We have 1 Quick Shooting Inteleon because that plus 20 damage every turn can really add up, especially since we are hitting for 250 on Calyrex. So a couple turns of Quick Shooting plus the 250 from Calyrex, that's like maybe 290, right? 270, 290, and then we can kind of fix the math here with Leon, which is plus 30 damage for that turn, right? So a lot of times if you get a couple quick shootings off, you get the Leon combo with a full power Max Lance, that's 320 damage. That's going to be enough to take a one-hit KO on a VMAX Pokemon. Really powerful combo. A couple things that are a little bit spicy, though, with this list is like the Lieutenant Surges in here. We also have a Mew in here to kind of protect our bench from the Urshifus, which can, of course, knock out these Inteleons and these Drizziles, which might be on our board. But yeah, Ice Rider runs Path to the Peak, of course, because it's really good. It doesn't turn off really any of our abilities. The Crobat there, of course, we can't use with Path to the Peak, but it's there in case Path to the Peak isn't, which I do like that. Low energy count, but we do have Capacious Bucket for Melanie, which is going to complete kind of the 2 energies in 1 turn combo you need to attack every turn with Max Lance from Ice Rider Calyrex. So definitely really good. It's all of this is just searchable with Shady Dealings, which is really why this list is that much better. It's also the reason why we can run 4 Quick Ball, 4 Level Ball, which, of course, we can search for the Sobble, Drizzile, Mew, which is going to be really good with Level Ball. And then 2 Pokecoms and 2 Evolution Incense to find all our Evolution Pokemon which are in our deck, which is quite a bit. 2 Scoop Up Nets as well, because, again, we can scoop up like a Inteleon, and then we can reuse that Inteleon to evolve another Drizzile or vice versa with the Drizzile. A lot of different options that we can do here with Scoop Up Net, and then the Reset Stamp as well, and the one of Air Balloon. All stuff that is, again, searchable with Shady Dealing. So a really fun list. Ice Rider, man, it's really good. Almost everything here is kind of surviving post-rotation as well, which is definitely an upside. This list is definitely looking to stay extremely relevant after rotation, which is, I think, a big reason why a lot of people are maybe investing in Ice Rider right now and even playing it right now, because it is a really great list, even right now in this format. Before rotation. So big shout out to Norman. Titanat is how you pronounce this guy's name. At least I think. I'm not sure. He's 11th, though. Also from Thailand. He's playing Inteleon as well, but he's playing Urshifu Inteleon. And again, if you guys haven't seen this list yet, this kind of emerged early on in Chilling Reign format as probably the best way to play Urshifu. A lot of things are still the same. As we saw in Battle Styles Urshifu, we see like Karate Belt, Tower of Waters, the new Passimian, though, Rapid Strike is really good. Increases our bench damage by 30, which is really good because we can also snipe the bench with the Rapid Strike Inteleons. We're running a higher count of these Inteleons in Urshifu than we were in Ice Rider because we're kind of banking more so on the bench damage and finishing up KOs with this than we were with Ice Rider Calyrex. Dedenne, Mew, Jirachi GX to turn off that Psychic weakness, extremely important. It's so important to be running Jirachi GX for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of kind of the same, right? I mean, people are kind of switching up Urshifu. People were running it with Jirachi. Now we have the new Inteleon, Passimian, so it kind of makes sense to just go all in with the bench damage. We're not running Telescopic Sight in this list, I guess, itself, which would also increase the bench damage to V and VMAX Pokemon and GX Pokemon by another 30, but I guess you don't really need it, and I guess Karate Belt is oftentimes the more consistent tool card to be running. If we're behind on prize cards, we can go ahead and Gmax Rapid Flow for just one of the Rapid Strike energy, which is extremely powerful, so it does make sense potentially that we would be running 2 Karate Belts instead of maybe also a Telescopic Sight thrown in here. So that's all stuff that I think makes a whole lot of sense for me. Not a lot of switching options, though, which you'll find interesting because we're not really focused around Gale Thrust like we were in the past. I know that Gale Thrust is a great attack for 1 energy. We can hit for 150, but we're focused around the Gmax Rapid Flow with this list, so we're not running a bunch of switching options. We have 1 Escape Rope, 1 Switch, 1 Air Balloon. That's really it for the cards that we have to switch in and out of the active spot, which is actually kind of crazy if you think about it. So yeah, Rapid Strike, Urshifu, and Inteleon. This is a deck that perhaps might be the best deck once again. Once Evolving Skies comes out, because there is going to be that new Medicham V, which is an insanely good card. I believe it does like 20 or 30 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon, but if it KOs with that attack, you take an extra prize card. This is a list that really is good at kind of fixing the math and finishing KOs, and that's, again, why Medicham, once Medicham is added to this list, it's also a fighting type, is going to be insane. I think Medicham's also a Rapid Strike Pokemon. I could be wrong, but I definitely don't think it's Single Strike. Anyway, though, big shout out to Titan. Absolutely incredible player. His list was super good, and we saw another one of those in finals as well. But yeah, big congrats to him. Next up, we have Auditio Premudia. I'm so bad. It's hard. You guys are. It's tough. I'm just a dude from America. I can't pronounce these crazy names. 10th, though. We got 10th place from Indonesia. And here comes our first Shadow Rider of top 16 that we'll take a look at today. And this is kind of a throwback Shadow Rider in some senses, right? We do have the Galarian Zapdos with the 2 Aurora energies thrown in there. This was super common early Chilling Rain format, but not really so far, like as this format's kind of gone on. 1-1 Alcremie lineup. That's pretty standard. 1 Gengar Mimikyu. 2 Dedennes. And then the Solgalea and Lunala, which I actually really do like as well. It's a great, attacker there. We can do like big damage for 4 energies. We also have the GX attack if we need to use it. And we can accelerate energies to it pretty rapidly with Shadow Rider, Calyrex, VMAX, or Alcremie. Psychic is really the best type right now in this format. There's a lot of great decks, but Shadow Rider just seems to be the list that wins all the time. It wins Chill Series every week. It's just an absolutely insane list. It kind of reminds me of those old E-Turn days back in Darkness Ablaze format. We do have a Marshadow and 2 Chaotic Swell, but we do not have Path to the Peak in our list. We really want to protect against Path to the Peak because it can be absolutely detrimental against us, or to us, right, if we're playing a deck that runs Path to the Peak. But everything else in here is kind of normal stuff. One ordinary Rod, you'll see that if we're playing Alcremie VMAX. Just kind of common in general. Just shuffle Pokemon and energies back into the list. Also, it helps you shuffle 1 Marshadow back in the list, which can be really, really good. 2 of our own Chaotic Swells, 12 Psychic energies. You want a high kind of energy in Shadow Rider because we want to get all those energies on our board. Lots of Pokemon Search, 4 Quick Balls, 2 Evo Incense, 2 Pokemon Communications. All stuff that I really do like. 2 Switch, 2 Air Balloon. Marnie, Research, Boss. So all good stuff. I mean, it's a little bit of a throwback, Shadow Rider, Calyrex to the beginning of the format, but it's crazy to think that we're almost at the end of Chilling Rain format already. But yeah, this is kind of more so a mix between early and modern Chilling Rain format version of Shadow Rider Calyrex. But I love it, and he did really well in the tournament. I mean, this dude got 10th, so you gotta love to see it. Next up, there's this guy's name, and I don't read Chinese or Taiwanese. I don't know exactly what the language would be. But this dude, this guy here, who got 9th, was our only ADP representative here in top 16. And a lot of times you'll see ADP, and what you'll notice here isn't really focused around Zacian like it used to be. I mean, ADP Zacian isn't ADP Zacian anymore. It's oftentimes referred to as ADP Toolbox or ADP Moltres. And Moltres really is the star of the show in this list. It's going to be the way that we can hit for super effective against Shadow Rider. Really helps that matchup a whole lot. But we have 1 Zapdos in there, of course, in case we hit E-Turn. And then we have the Aegislash for when we're hitting things like Altaria, Decidueye. So we have attackers for like everything, realistically, right? And it's all good stuff. Everything else in here, though, is just kind of normal ADP shenanigans with the whole Metal Saucer, Energy Switch, Cherish Balls, Rusted Sword, Air Balloon. Viridian Forest, though. So this is the thing where the list begins to change. And another thing you'll notice is Oricorio GX thrown in here, right? So Eldegoss, Dedenne, Mawile, that's kind of old ADP stuff, but a lot of people are running the Oricorio GX these days. And it's one of those bench sitters that can give you like a +3 draw almost every turn. The format is so quick. Oricorio GX is a lot more effective now than perhaps it was when it even came out. So it is extremely good in this list, and I do like it. But if you go down, you'll notice kind of where the difference changes, and that's going to be like the way that we get energies out in the list, right? So 2 Viridian Forests, this is going to be really good because we can search for any of the metal, dark, or water basic energies that are in our list. But not only that, we get to discard a card when we do that. And a lot of times we like to discard a metal or a dark energy here because we can bring those back and onto our Pokemon with Metal Saucer and, of course, Dire Flame Wings with Moltres, right? So gives you a lot of freedom. Not only can you grab an energy from the list, but you can put one in the discard pile to put that then onto one of your Pokemon. And for Aurora energies, makes sense, right? If we're running a Moltres, Dark type, ADP, which needs water, Zacian, Metal, Zapdos, Fighting. Like, we don't even have Fighting in the list. We just have the 4 Auroras. So that's kind of why we have to run Aurora Energy in this new ADP list. No way to find Aurora energies. We just have to draw into them, but we will be drawing into them pretty consistently because we have a lot of cards that draw more cards for us. With the Dedenne GX, Marnie, Research, things like that. So here it is. If you guys still like playing ADP, this is kind of the new way to do it. Although ADP is rotating. Definitely rotating very soon. But I think that, like Aurora V-Box is actually going to be a really good deck. So even without ADP, a list of this fashion could still be really, really good. But with Viridian Forest rotating soon, things might be a little bit more difficult for a list that is somewhat like this. But yeah, ADP. It's ADP, and it's still around. It's never going to leave until it's forced to with rotation. All right, getting into top 8, we have Renzo, FT. This dude is from Peru, and he was also playing Urshifu and Teleon. Let's see if his list is any different than the other ones that we took a look at. Okay, yeah, so I think it's actually the exact same, if I'm correct. There might be like a 1 or 2 card change, but same type of deal. This is, if you're going to be playing Urshifu right now, this is in fact the way to play it. It definitely focuses around the G-Max Rapid Flow attack rather than Gale Thrust, but still really good. He's still hitting weakness on E-Turn, has actually a really good ADP matchup as well, just has a pretty good matchup in general. Shadow Rider is still extremely good, so that's really the only thing holding Urshifu or Rapid Strike Urshifu back right now. But yeah, here it is. Take another look at it. This is a post-rotation-centric list as well, so it could be really beneficial to invest in Urshifu. So keep that in mind. Big shout out to Renzo. Congrats, my dude. Top 8. Love to see it. Next up is Andrew Hedrick. Again, one of the best online players in the game right now. Got 7th from the U.S. He was playing Ice Rider. So this was our highest ranked Ice Rider of the tournament. 7th out of 850. Yeah, all kind of very similar stuff. Very similar to the last one that we saw. A couple key differences. We do not have Lieutenant Surge in here. And I don't think that you will see Lieutenant Surge very often. 4 Evo Incense, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Level Ball, 1 Evolution Pokemon Communication. So a little bit different, of course, of the Pokemon Search. We see 4 Marnie, 4 Melanie, 3 Boss, and only 1 Research, 1 Leon. So a little bit different. We still have the 1 stamp in there, searchable with Shady Dealings, 1 Scoop Up Net, 1 Air Balloon, all searchable stuff with Shady Dealings. But we're running 4 Path to the Peak, 2 Capacious Buckets with 1 or 8 Water Energy, so 1 extra from the last list that we saw. But 4 Path to the Peak, and this is a list that really does love playing Path to the Peak, right? I mean, you kind of lock them down with the stadium. I can consistently start just kind of hitting home, right, for the 250 damage with Max Lance, which we can do very consistently. At the very least, we can do it like five times, right, with Melanie. So that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, like the meme. So yeah, Ice Rider, super crazy. Big shout out to Andrew though. I love Ice Rider. It's a really fun list. It's really well constructed too, right? Late in the format, people have kind of figured things out. This seems to be the way that we should be playing Ice Rider. So love to see it. Congrats, Andrew. All right, next up we have Tommy B, 89, and Wade Days at 5 and 6. Tommy here got 6 from the U.S. They're both playing Luke Metal. So let's see how their Luke Metal seem to be. I'm not going to go into too much depth. Everybody knows Luke Metal right now. We do have the Aegislash-Tech in here. This is the Tag Call engine Luke Metal. I see Tool Scrapper in here. I like that. I like the 1 Capture Energy as well. 3 Chaotic Swell. So this is kind of what Luke Metal looks like these days, and honestly, I think that Luke Metal is much better to be playing right now in this format than ADP. It's definitely a 100% metal-centric list, which is totally fine because, Fire is not even existent in this format, and I think if you're playing Luke Metal, you could even just get rid of Coding Energies because you're just not going to hit a lot of Fire, and that's just the reality of it. But yeah, here's Luke Metal. Luke Metal. Chilling Rain Luke Metal. Still good. Still getting top 8s. Big congrats to Tommy B. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Luke Metal's a weird list. I mean, there's people playing it all the time. It always does well, but it's never like the most popular list. This is extremely similar, except it's actually different in a lot of ways, so I don't know why I said that. No Aegis/Tech in here. We are running Tactical Engine, but we see an Erica's Hospitality, which I think is cool. And I like. We see that there's no Coding Energy, like I said. You don't need it, and the basic energy is much more consistent with the Intrepid Sword and the Metal Saucers in the list. But we see 2 Galar Mines with a Wonder Lab, which is some spicy Luke Metal stuff, definitely on the defensive side, kind of sticking your opponent in the active spot, increasing their retreat cost with Galar Mine. And then we have Wonder Lab, which increases their attack cost, right? So that's kind of the idea with this list. But Luke Metal's actually really good at piling energies on, right? So we can kind of do that. We have 4 switches as well, so we can kind of play Galar Mine and Wonder Lab pretty freely without kind of feeling the effects of it too harsh, right? And on top of the 4 switches, we have 2 Malolanas. So it's actually smart. The Galar Mine is smart, and I do like it. Very cool. This got 5th at Chill Series, so just kind of something to keep in mind. If you're a Luke Metal player, maybe you innovate a little bit, like Wade Days here, and maybe you play kind of like a little spicy list. I don't know about the Ericas, but everything else in here I really do like, and I think it's cool. Double reset stamp as well, and 3 Lily's Polka Doll. So big shout out to Wade Days. I mean, he's a great player, though. Everybody knows it. I drink my Fresca. He always does really well. So definitely cool to see. All right, moving on to top 4, we have Jonathan Patricio. 4th here from Chile, and now we see, this is Mewtwo Dark Box, but now we see with the Malamar VMAX thrown in here. So again, it's very similar to the last Mewtwo Dark Box list that we saw, but sometimes people do kind of put that emphasis on the Malamar VMAX, which is kind of the other Dark type VMAX Pokemon that's really legal right now in this game. I don't even know if there are any other ones. There might be. I know Umbreon's coming out soon. But yeah, the thing is with E-Turn is if you build an E-Turn deck, you really have to focus the deck around Eternatus VMAX. This here, we can kind of just sprinkle Malamar into the list, and it is really beneficial. It's a great, powerful 3-prize Dark-type attacker. Gets a little bit of a control vibe in there with Malamar's attack. But the thing is, we can kind of sprinkle it into the list, and we don't have to actually focus the list around Malamar, right? We're still running the Moltres, Weavile GX, energy combination, and for that reason, we have the ability to incorporate a 3-prize Dark type attacker into this list, which we never really would have been able to do without Galarian Moltres. Still running Mewtwo and the Umbreon and Darkrai, but again, we're not running things like Mega Tyranitar or Mega Sableye and Tyranitar and Greninja Zoroark, so they're kind of falling to the back, falling to the side for Malamar VMAX, but everything else in here still pretty standard. We still see one. We see a Cheryl actually, so that's new. And the Cheryl does make sense if we're running those 3 Malamar VMAXs. Could be really good. And I like the 2 Viridian Forest. Viridian Forest goes so well with Moltres. You can get a Dark Energy in the discard pile and get 1 into hand. That's +2 that turn. Extremely good. And a list that I really like has a lot of synergy as well. So Dark. This is Dark type. This is like the hipster Dark deck, right? If you're not playing E-Turn, you're going to be playing something like this, kind of for the more spicy players. But again, we've seen it be extremely successful, and in fact, Dark Box was extremely successful in this tournament. We had, 3 of those in top 16, but only 1 E-Turn. So keep that in mind. Big shout out to Jonathan Patricio, though. Michael Ginshiro from the U.S. was playing Dark Box, but no Malamar in here, so this is going to be similar to the last one that we saw. But it's a little bit different because we have one fighting energy with a Zapdos in here. So this is going to kind of cover, the E-Turn matchup or the Mirror matchup if we're playing against one with Malamar. So it's kind of cool. Just 2 cards in the list could make a big difference in a lot of matchups. And again, we can find that Dark Energy with Viridian Forest pretty easily. And we can find the Zapdos easily, right, with Quick Ball and Pokemon Communications. But everything else in here, very similar to the last Mewtwo Dark Box list that we saw. The first one. And a lot of liberties you can take when you're playing kind of Mewtwo toolkit lists, right? Because there's a lot of room. You can go a lot of different directions. And like we see here, we got the Zapdos thrown in here. So a little bit of spice, like just a tiny couple of sprinkles of some spice thrown onto Mewtwo Dark Box, even though it was already kind of a spicy list in general. Anyway, though, big shout out to Michael. Massive run for him. We got Gumi47, second place with Urshifu and Talion. He did, of course, beat over those Dark-type lists, so the matchups might have been a little bit favorable for him. when he got later into top cut. Very similar as well, Urshifu list than we saw to the other ones. One thing I do want to note in here is that spicy Cheryl, which if you do get that playoff right, it could be really, really, really good. After we G-Max Rapid Flow, we're discarding the energies anyway. At the beginning of next turn, if we don't need to play another supporter, we can play Cheryl, heal all the damage off our Urshifu, and kind of continue with our day, which can be a really, really powerful play if we do get it off. And it is searchable with Shady Dealings, Drizzile. So keep that in mind. But yeah, everything else in here pretty similar to the last Urshifu that we saw, except instead of 2 Karate Belts, we do see that Telescopic Sight, which is going to, of course, increase the bench damage to V and VMAX and GX Pokemon by 30 if they're on the bench, which is what we do. We hit the bench. So it makes sense, right? The thing is here, and what happened in the finals is our opponent kind of bossed up the Urshifu with Karate Belt and KO'd that first. So the Telescopic Sight Urshifu couldn't set up in one turn like Karate Belt can, right? So that's kind of the liability if you're running Telescopic Sight. And if you're going for just consistency and kind of you want to protect yourself against being bossed, you're going to want to run double Karate Belt. But Telescopic Sight can be really, really good as well to finish off some KOs. So here it is. And like I said, Urshifu, I mean, it made finals. Yeah, it did lose to Shadow Rider in finals. Spoiler alert, but you just saw it. Go check out that grand finals match. But yeah, something you just kind of have to, keep an eye on, right? Just kind of have to keep an eye on that. So anyway, big shout out to Gumi. Congrats to Gumi for sure. And next up, we've got Diamond King, the winner from Grand Finals. And he was playing Shadow Rider, and this here, it's just kind of really standard, really consistent Shadow Rider with a 1-1 all creamy lineup. 2 Dedenes, 1 Mars Shadow, 1 Gengar Mimikyu, Reset Stamp, Ordinary Rod, 1 Training Court with 2 Weak Guard energies, which is really spicy, but could be really beneficial in that E-turn matchup. So here it is. Big shout out to Diamond King for winning the tournament. Thank you, everybody, for playing. It was 850 players. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I might make a video, though, just on this list, a separate video. So we'll do that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you, everyone, for playing. Chill Series 42 is coming up next week. I'm really, really excited. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for future content. We'll do an actual big meta-analysis here in a few days, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Maddie from Chill TCG, and we'll see you guys Wednesday for Chill Series number 42. You guys have a good day.